And I'm sure it's probably morning somewhere around the globe, but we are on the East Coast, and so it is evening for us. And I just want to say good evening to you all, right? This is our financial reset series, and this is week 3. Yes, it's we've been with you for for 3 weeks, and today we're talking about protecting the progress, right? We're going to talk about wills and trusts and proper coverages. We're building. So if you have not been with us, go back and listen to episode or last week and the week before so that you won't be out of sync with where we're going, right? So you've done no hard work for those who have been here of finding the money. You started saving it. But this week, nobody wants to, is the week that nobody wants to talk about. And it's the week that protects everything you've just built. They don't want to talk about it but they should be talking about it, right?
Yes, yes.
And so our objective is to make sure we bring these conversations live and to you. There's a buzzword about gatekeeping, but that's not us here. So, welcome back, everyone who has been with us. As you know, I am Terry, the founder of Built to Last, where we're helping individuals, families, and communities build financial stability, security, financial wealth, and lasting legacies. Yes, we don't want you to have it here today, going tomorrow. Ain't nobody got time for that, right?
Well,
Over the last 2 weeks, we've been on a journey together, and I feel I've been enjoying it. Quite honestly, it's not that I haven't heard the information, but sometimes you don't need to be informed as much as you need to be reminded. The first week, we found the leaks in our cash flow. Then we talked about giving every dollar a purpose through emergency and opportunity funds. That's the idea. We're given an assignment, and those are the two vehicles by which we say are the most healthiest to do it. So today we take the very next step. And I'm super excited about it. I know I say that because what good is it building something if you don't protect it and you can lose it at any time? Many people spend years working, saving, investing, and sacrificing, yet they never take the simple legal and financial steps that keep everything they've built from unraveling. And the truth of the matter is, some people, just one emergency away from losing everything. But generational wealth isn't created simply because you accumulated assets. It's created because you intentionally protected them. That's at least what I believe. And I stand by that. This is a conversation. This conversation isn't about fear. It's about stewardship. It's about loving your family enough to prepare them before life forces them to make difficult decisions. And so tonight we welcome Curtis back. Let's help families protect the progress that they've worked so hard to make. That is our objective. Um, and so before we go any further, this is the time because these are what I call critical and crucial conversations. It is we see it in his work, and he can speak to that, and I definitely see it in my work, where let's say somebody inherits a property, they have they don't know what to do with it, they don't know what was done with it, and in some cases the title is so tangled in debt and judgments and all these things that they can't even benefit from it. Or you have the creditors have a right to the estate. Some people don't even know how to open estates, right? But here is what I know for sure. You don't wait until the emergency, or you don't wait to the death to try to figure it out. And some people don't like to have those conversations because, in some weird way, they think that we are projecting death or we're calling death. Death is a part of life. There's two things that are for sure going to happen: you will be born and you will die, right? And so, but the difference between what happens in between that time and even post happens based on something you prepared for, not something you hoped for, right? Something that you prepared for. And so I want you to take a moment to share, to like this live. I want you to share this live out. The link should be in the chat. I want you to prepare yourself for questions, because tonight I think the conversation is so crucial that where we can, if Curtis would like to, he'll answer one or two questions. And I believe that when family systems are strong, they are lasting, right? And so you don't have to worry about each generation starting from ground zero. But all too often, we're waiting too late to have the conversations. And so I'm asking you tonight, for your sake, for the culture's sake, right? Share this live out, invite somebody. You know what I'm saying? People who, be sending you all kind of viral posts and, and things that don't move the needle in your life. It may entertain you temporarily, but it doesn't necessarily move the needle for you substantially, nor long term. Go share it with those people, your family, your friends who may be responsible for handling your estate one day, right? Or handling your assets one day. Or your youngins who will be able to benefit from what you've built, right? They too need to be involved in the conversation. Sometimes we say, oh, this is way above their pay grade. Not in this day and time. It's These conversations are way below their pay grade. They have to be 10 paces ahead based on the way life is currently moving and things that are being outdated like in days sometimes. So don't think they can't handle it. Our children are more intelligent than we think. They can comprehend, and then if they can't, they got YouTube University that they on every day, but we don't want them to go purely to that unless it's a trusted person. So take a moment. You should be sharing this live out right now. This is super important and critical for our families. We're going to be talking about insurance and whatever else Curtis is wants to talk about tonight. I'm going to ask him a few questions to get the conversation started. But you want people to be in the room with you, so you guys can build and grow together. And it should cause you. This is our financial reset series to review, um, to look at, right, to recharge, to maybe start over, power up differently. This particular area where our finances are concerned. So with that, and I want you to put in the chat, tell me that you shared it with somebody. Tell us where you're watching from, right? Get involved, right? These are things that are critical to us. And for those, I can't see who you are, but don't be saying later on, well, I just didn't know what I didn't know. That I'm gonna tell y'all, that is one of the things that cooks my grits, or what's another one, Curtis? It
You know,
cooks my grits. It
uh,
fries my fish. I don't know what they say, because that's, to me, that's an excuse with all of this information out here, with all of the people who are doing all of the things, right? It's not enough, especially if you're playing the game, to say, I didn't know what I didn't know. Well, you should be digging and trying to find out.
mhm.
Okay, so enough with me. Let's dive into this conversation. Is juicy in nature because it's going to help you build exponentially, exponentially. So let's go. Curtis, my friend, you there?
I am here
Okay. So last week we talked about building reserves. Why is protection the next logical step before building more wealth?
because you have to play defense. I call it building a moat around your castle. So you've got to protect and
Curtis, I
preserve.
think your audio might be low. Can you turn it up a little bit?
Uh, let's see. How about now? Can you hear me?
A little bit better. Someone in the chat, can you tell me if our how our audio is, and Curtis, you
Okay. How
continue.
about
And then can we make sure that the YouTube channel is inside of the chat so people can share that out? Um, and I think that's all for now. Go ahead, Curtis.
now? Okay. How's my volume now?
It seems a little bit faint, but maybe it's just on my end. Let me
No,
see.
no. If you can't hear it, they can't hear it. So let's see something. Um, Let me just bring the mic close to my mouth.
That's better. Whatever you just did. What did you just do?
Move the mic close to my mouth.
Oh,
So step down. So excuse my background, guys. So but so anyway, listen. So you have to. I call it. Once you got to make money, you got to save money, and then you got to protect what you've built. And so that's not sexy, but that's foundational because you it's like the medieval times. They would build a moat around their castle to protect invaders from coming, pillaging their land and stealing their stuff. Well, that's the principle we teach in our system is called principle 2 in our 5-step system is maximum protection. And so it's different types of things. You tell me how deep you want me to go there, but there's, I say I'll just grab I'll 50,000 foot view. You got to protect your stuff, right? So if you have property, that's homeowners insurance. Okay, you've got to have replacement costs, right? So do you want if you had a fire or a loss, do you want half your house back or all your house back? Well, you got to check, right? And make sure if you're in a flood zone, you have flood insurance, right? Because you can have a flood, but if you don't have flood insurance, your property is a watch because they're not going to pay you. Okay. Um, do you have uh auto insurance? It is criminal how people that are let get away with running around without not enough insurance. Like, they think, well, I can drive. You're legal. I got comp collision and liability. But if you have any means and you're running around, especially with every other commercial as a personal injury lawyer, you got to have your um maximum protection. I'll just give you a number. Two if you on your bodily injury on your coverage, 250 per person, 500,000 per occurrence, and 100,000 of property damage. And the same for uninsured motorists. Just ask for that. Worst case, 100, 300. So, and what you'll find if you ask your provider, it's not that much more, right? But you should know it exists because you want to be able. This is so. Somebody told me this at a meeting one time. You want to be able to. He says, I have enough insurance where I can hit somebody and back up and hit him again if I wanted to, right? So you
oh, well, that ain't right.
right. You don't want to do that. But I'm saying is you want to be the purpose of insurance is to indemnify you. Okay. And so indemnify means to make you whole, to bring you, it doesn't make you rich. It just brings you back to where you were. So like if you have a setback and you don't have insurance, you got to go and um, you know, uh, liquidate your savings to get you where you were. But if you have insurance, the insurance fills that in. Here's another thing. This falls under protection. Imp- what is the biggest engine that keeps your lifestyle going? I'm role playing. I want you to answer.
What?
What's the like?
I thought.
You have a personal economy, right? So
Right.
we work, we have businesses. What is keeping the lights on for us? Our
Our bid
ability to earn
to.
income,
Right. Okay.
right? So if you were to lose that ability, I had a hairstylist who was in a car accident, broke her right arm. She's right-handed. So could she do hair? No.
Oh.
Okay. So she had disability insurance. And so the disability insurance paid her, I don't know, $4,000 or $5,000 a month. And for a year. And so that kept the light. Now she had she had rentals and she had some other stuff, but she couldn't perform her primary occupation. And so she insured that. Right. And so, most people, you're more likely to become disabled for 6 months to a year than you are to pass away. But um, less than 20% of people have short term or long term disability. So sometimes
Curtis, for those
that
who
got
may
tough.
be joining us right now, and no,
Hmm.
we're going to go to the next question, but I think it's important for people to know who you are and a little bit about your background, so they know that you didn't study YouTube University, or and let's be clear, there's nothing wrong with that. We all need to be taught, but I think it's different when people have lived experiences. That's
Yeah.
what makes them experts in the room. So, can you just share a little bit about your background for those who may be joining us for week three and they didn't get an opportunity to get introduced to you
So who
properly?
I is,
Who ITI is.
who I is no. So I'm Curtis May. I'm the founder of Practical Wealth Solutions. I'm also the host of the Practical Wealth Show podcast. In a nutshell, I help business owners, professionals, and families answer a simple question: where did my money go? Okay, because you'll find you're making good money, but most of it's lost through taxes, debt, interest, inefficient financial decisions. I help people also protect what they've earned. That's which is the topic of today. I call it playing defense. You got to make money, invest, work, make money, invest, but then you got to protect it once it hits your personal economy. You don't want it to leave, and you don't want anybody to take it away from you, right? So you got to protect it. So the non-sexy step that we're discussing is protection. So like foundationally, I'm a financial strategist and everything, but the underwriting core products, if you will, is I'm licensed in insurance products, right? I'm licensed in property casualty. Although I don't do it, I give it away. I'm licensed in life insurance and health insurance and disability insurance. And those are the key components, long term care, to securing everything you work for. And that's important.
Okay. That is very important, and we are blessed to have Curtis at Built to Last as a one of our partners, and he does a lot inside of our community. In fact, we have inside of our community week three in August. Curtis will be teaching us how to build our personal economies, how to build our family economies and our banks. And that's the day that we'll allow people to bring their family members for free. The membership, if you're a member, you get to invite your family members for free, because that's how important we feel that this is. And then, because we don't just leave you hanging, Curtis will be on tap to help you get started in with your insurance policies, or he will even review them to make sure that you have the proper coverages, and make recommendations. He always says, I'm the offensive player and he's the defensive player. I like to say he is the real MVP of us, because again, we don't want to be out here doing all of these things and earning money, multiplying money, doing all of the things, and to build a quality life, not just for us but our children's children, all to see it be taken by someone like the state, like, because that
That's fine.
is
I like to say
the
that
thing.
too. I'm the
Uh,
MVP. All right, so
you know what, this guy. All right, tell me this.
say it
What is
again.
the biggest protection? You want me to say it again?
Who I is.
Curtis,
Okay.
you are the real MVP, sir.
Okay. All right. I'm honest.
all
Still. I just need to
all
hear
right,
it over and
listen,
over
this,
again.
this is
All
what
right.
he do. This is what we do. So don't be weird out. But we really I deal with professionals and people that I can have relationships with, because business is about relationships. And so we have fun with each other when we are on public, and in private. He's more of a drag in private, but he's being nice today. Okay, Curtis, what is the biggest protection gap you see that families don't even realize they have?
One, they're underinsured with life insurance, and they don't have disability insurance. Those are the two. And they're uninsured with their liability coverages on your property protections. That's like if I look at people's stuff, um, they they're just gaps in their coverage, and you don't insurance is the only thing you can't buy when you need it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't be using those blanket statements like that, and then you want to talk about it, but I mean that's a profound statement, but it's true, right?
Yeah.
You can't get in an accident and be like, now
Right. What's
insure
that
me.
commercial? "Oh, my she shed's on fire," right? And so you can't call, Jake and say, "My she shed's on fire. Can I get some insurance?" No, your she shed's on fire. It's too late. It's time. Yeah, it was yesterday. You should have got some insurance. And but since you don't know when, you want to get as much as you can afford because you don't know when, and it's just got to be built into your planning process. Um, most of the families, like if you're 45, making 100,000, whatever, if you're 40 plus, take whatever you make a year, multiply by 20, 42, like say 20, yeah, 20, 25. And that's how much, that's on the life insurance tip. That's how much you can have. So if you don't have that much, you're underinsured. That's just a easy back of the napkin. Oh, Curtis, I got 500,000. Yeah, but you make 100 grand a year. You need 2.5 million. Why not? I don't even want to say need. You can have, because you can't get rich from insurance, and insurance companies won't let you buy whatever. It's got to be a ratio to your earnings. But most times, the other thing is they say, "Well, I got insurance on my job." That's not coverage. That's a supplement. That's not your main plan. That's just extra. So you got to have your own thing. Uh, that goes where you go. And so you can't look at that because people switch jobs too often to have that be meaningful. And what happens if you leave your job because you're sick? Now you're uninsurable. You have nothing.
Okay, so what was the three again?
Three, life insurance, underinsured, disability insurance, non-existent, underinsured, uh, their liability coverages on protecting your stuff. There no umbrella coverage at all. Underinsured with their liability coverage on their car, and you just want to most time is built in, but you want to ask, do I have replacement costs on my homeowners?
Okay. All right. So for the people who think that insurance is a ripoff, just under 30, under a minute, under 60 seconds, I want you to address that elephant that usually is in the room.
Grow up. Did that take too long? Did I say that too fast? Right? That's
No, I think that might have been the shortest answer I've ever gotten from you, and it took me by surprise. Like,
that's not a true. I mean,
that is.
it's yeah. I mean, I mean, grow up is the answer, but because that's ridiculous, right?
No,
And
no, listen, but it is a truth that that is the shortest answer in all my life of knowing you, that you that that was short.
yeah,
Okay, all
it's
right.
not a
So,
ripoff. You need
but
insurance. Okay, stop.
you okay? All right. Next, this is the next question. When people hear wills, trusts, insurance, and beneficiaries, they often think I'll get to that later. Why is waiting so dangerous?
Well, we all live until we don't. Okay, so you know, you don't. I had some guy. I had a client. He goes, "Yeah, you know, I'm gonna get around to getting the insurance." I said, "Okay, what's your birthday?" He told me. I said, "Well, what's your date of death?" Because he was acting all stupid all night, so I had to smack him. Right? I
Oh.
said, "What's your date of death?"
We
And
do not condone violence.
right,
We
well,
This is a disclaimer.
if you
We do
say
not
something to me
condone
like
violence.
I don't really know my V's N words to fight over, and we're in person, I may smack you. Okay. Oh, I'm just gonna say that because this is stuff I used to hear earlier in my career. And so now I'll say, "Are you serious? Or are you just trying to be cute?" Right? So I try to soften it up, but the it's dangerous because insurability is not guaranteed.
I wanted you to talk about that, like,
Yeah,
and how the longer you wait, right, you can become uninsurable
you can become
based
uninsurable.
on
Well, every year
age
you get
and
older, insurance costs more. Life insurance, we're talking about life insurance, right?
yeah.
And
Mhm.
so you want to get it. You're as young and skinny and healthy as you're ever going to be. So you don't put that off. You get it. People say, "Oh, I got to get my weight down to get." You don't know. I had a guy was putting me off for 2 years. He got approved like standard, like in 2 weeks. I was like, "So you messing around?" But you don't know. You're not an underwriting. Let me do my job, right? I'm telling you, you're okay. You could get it covered. And so because while you're messing around, you could die. I've had people wait. Well, I want to, whatever they thought they had, whatever. Get my blood sugar down. Then they had a stroke, right? So then they're uninsurable, right? Whereas they could have got something. So shit happens. Excuse the expression. And so you want to protect yourself. And then so what happens is if it starts with the insurance, because insurance is a product that guarantees, the only product that guarantees what you want to have happen will happen, whether you're here to see it happen or not. Okay. So now the wills, the trust, see, it starts with the policy because the policy funds your goals, right? The trust, think of the will as a playbook to say what you want to have happen, but it's still not private. It will still go through probate. And most people die intestate. And then the insurance proceeds are tax free. They go straight to the beneficiary. But if you got kids or if you a spouse is dying in a common accident, this is where, and my wife always tells me to stay in my lane, so I'm not gonna go too deep into it. I have people that do our trust for us, but at basic, you need a revocable living trust, okay, which is an asset protection tool. I mean, it's not asset protection tool. It doesn't save money on taxes. It's a what's it called? Estate planning tool, right? And so the proceeds, you make the insurance, you make the trust the beneficiary of the life insurance. You don't put the life insurance in the trust. All this stuff, people say, I'm gonna get my insurance and put my business in trust and put no. You put, for basic, y'all, you need, because if you got little kids, if they're under 18 or if they're like early 20s, let's say you got $2 million of insurance. Do you want them to get that money with no instructions and no guardrails, free access to $2 million at 18, 20 years old? I've seen people get $1 million and go through it in 2 years.
Yep. Because and that's why when people say, "Oh, you a millionaire," it doesn't take much to
Doesn't take
become a
much.
millionaire, and it you can squander it, and depending on your lifestyle. That's why one of the things we've been trying to do here is to really start um, emphasizing the importance of healthy finances, right?
Yeah,
And handling your finances in a healthy way. Because if you can do that, then that will lead to stability. Stability leads to security, and then security can lead to wealth, right? People just like, oh, because the term is sexy, generational wealth. Well, that doesn't happen with one big event, right? That happens based on a series of small things that you do consistently and
right.
things that you tap into. And so
And
I'm
so
I'm
you
glad that
started with life insurance. You begin with the end in mind, and then while you're working backwards to build your real estate empire, build your businesses, you've already got that covered because you want to create the most wealth with the least amount of money, with the most leverage, right? So you're buying millions for pennies on a dollar. So you start there, right? And then you build a container to hold it to protect it, right? So, you want to,
oh,
I had
that's
this guy,
good.
I had this guy say, listen, I want to protect my children from their first ex-husband, right? So I was listening to this thing with Morgan
What in
said,
the
listen,
foolishness? Who
so
says
50% of marriages end in divorce. So if, let's say I'm an older parent, then if I'm just playing the odds. So if the money is in the trust, you can use it for down payments, you can do it for whatever. But if y'all break up, some knucklehead don't get half my money because it's not part of the marital estate, it's in the trust. That's how you you
okay?
you got to
Repeat
keep it
that.
in the family.
Repeat that, because I think that is repeat that, please.
So protect your kids from their future first ex-husband or wife. And but if you leave money and you leave an inheritance to the trust, you get a good person, a company or a trustee to administer it, and they can use it for down payments for college, for whatever. But if they got married and they break up, that $5 million or $2 million that you left for them in the trust is not part of marital assets. I would, I highly suggest not giving legal advice. I was just listening to John Morgan says he's got 5 kids. All of his kids when they come, they get married. Okay, here's a prenup that you got to give to your spouse, and if they don't sign it, there's no wedding.
There's no
There's no
way.
way.
I
Or he says you guys you get married, but he says this is what it's called. He's on your leisure. He goes, I'll give you maybe $1 million a year, but you're not going to get any big money. So that's all relative, right? So $1 million a year, I'm okay with that. $80,000 a month, but you're not. He's worth billion. He's like, oh, damn near a billionaire. So you don't get none of that money because you ain't signed the prenup, right? So we have to think, and I don't think we think about stuff beforehand, clear eyed, and you just got to protect yourself. So that's that, and so that sucks all the love out the room, but that's maximum protection. It's a contract.
I like it because, again, I think if everybody understands the end goal, right, they should understand why these things are conversations to have, right? Because, you know, we've seen it all the time, even though you gave that statistic, and it's so alarming and it's sad. But, this thing with people like, well, I just outgrew them. And I'm like, I don't understand that.
That's not a thing.
It,
I was about to
like,
that's a you know, I mean, you gotta grow, but it's for better for y'all look at it like it's like a fad. It's a covenant, right?
Exactly. I'm
And
like,
and
you should
and
be growing together
yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
Like, and if and the way I see it, if you are outpacing someone, then the other one should get in a because how can y'all work together unless you be agreed? You
Well,
got to get in alignment.
listen, I ain't a marriage counselor because I see it all the time because I sometimes I'm like a marriage counselor because I'm like I can any given point when I work with clients, I'm the career coach, I'm the business coach, I'm the marriage counselor, none of which I'm getting paid for, right? I'm there to do. But, I've been doing this 40 years. I've been married 28 years and I've got I've seen some stuff. I know some stuff, I guess. And I've seen good marriages, I've seen bad marriages. And so you observe. And I remember when I was working with these clients, friends of mine that had me come over and bring me over to argue through them. And then when I was getting married, we went through marriage counseling with our pastor. And I was like, wow, people weren't really, you could tell that they never got asked these questions beforehand.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
and then
yeah,
yeah, I mean, yeah. So we're saying, okay, now that you are being exposed to it, exposure should lead to expansion, and these are conversations that should be built upon, and there are all types of spaces to do it.
yeah.
Of course, we recommend our space, and you want to get into spaces where people have the same objective. I love Curtis because he's not just an insurance agent. You already listened to him say that he becomes the marriage counselor, the probably the funeral director. He becomes a lot of it, and he embraces it very well. So Curtis, for someone who isn't wealthy yet, right? Why should they still care about estate planning and proper protection?
Because we all live until we don't. Okay, I want to keep ringing that bell because how do you get wealthy? You got to follow the yellow brick road. You got to follow certain principles. So if you do success leaves clues, like it's not a mystery, right? You got to spend less than you make. You got to save 15% or more of your income. You got to protect what you've built. You need to leave a legacy. You need savings, and you got to buy assets. Income follows assets, right? So now I said that really fast. There's work to do and stuff to be learned, but poverty is a choice.
Yeah.
Now I know all y'all whoever's don't like that statement, but that's income is a result of
Who
creating
y'all's
value in the
whatever?
marketplace.
What is that?
I'm trying to be politically correct. All these liberal socialists out there,
No,
democratic
don't say it's
socialists,
just
right?
liberal and don't say it's just socialist.
Right.
Don't do that
All
because
right.
there's so
That's what
many
I mean. Well, you see,
levels.
you made me go specific. All right. So no, but I yeah, I hear you. No, I'm just saying I'm trying to see, you've got to pull your own little red wagon. And we want you to, because if you like, GoFundMe is not a plan.
Oh, say it again for the people
So
in the back.
GoFundMe is not a plan. That means your ass is trifling. Okay?
Oh,
Because you
well,
can
no,
get
okay.
I had because I need y'all to get this. Like, I need y'all to, I'm not trying to be nice right now. I'm coach. Now you're gonna meet
All right.
Coach Curtis. Coach Curtis for like 15 seconds. All right.
Okay.
You
You got
need,
it.
because it's not that much, right? And so it's a love product. So you got to care about somebody other than yourself. That's what who buys
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah, Curtis. That's
And
good.
so that's my pet peeve. I don't die for free. Okay, people die all the time, and every generation should still not be broke
Yes. Yes.
because we violate certain fundamentals.
I
Um,
think I concur. Poverty is a choice. I think that when people, but people who have GoFundMe, I think a lot of them aren't. Some of them are right. Let's be clear, but then some of them aren't exposed to the alternative, and we can say is because they have not put them positioned themselves to be. And for some, they're just and I'm going to share this real quickly. I'm thinking, how can certain people entertain um, certain ideologies and things like that? But when they only listen to one news station, right? When they're getting their news from just one class of people, one political affiliation, right? Then they're limited, right? And so I think the same rings true, is that depending on what you surround yourself with, you're not going to know certain things. But we want to suggest and we want to encourage you, um, and even for some family members who like, oh, I'm on it, I'm on it, I'm on it, and we think that our family members are too far gone to be on it. No, share it with them, right? Because chances are they may outlive you, and you want them to be, even if they don't, you still want them to be positioned to implement some of these
I
things.
mean, you have to fight to be better every day, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's there's so back to the comment about watching one TV station. So there's two sides of every coin, and then there's the edge, right? And so wisdom is found on the edge. So you have to be able to hold two opposing thoughts in your mind at the same time and figure out your philosophy, right? And so it's and so what are you reading? Some people say, "Oh, I don't read." So apparently, a lot of people don't like to read. I don't. People died so you can read, but okay, there's audiobooks, there's podcasts. You got to free your mind. You got to educate yourself because you can't expand your own vision.
Yeah, I like that. You can't expand your own vision because it's your vision, right? But if you got somebody else, then they add, people when they talk about people who wear makeup and all of that, and I'm like, well, some people, they could choose to do whatever they want, and sometimes it looks like a lot, but really it's supposed to enhance what already exists, right? Now some people try to become a whole nother person, but it's supposed to enhance what's already there, right? And so you may already have something built in you, but other people help to enhance that. Other professionals and experts help you to enhance that. So, Curtis, if a family could only take 3 protection steps this month, what would you recommend they do first?
I would check their level of. I would pull out all their insurance policies, make sure they're paid, make sure that, like, let's say, or your job stuff, and make sure your stuff isn't your ex-wife, past second first wife is not the beneficiary, cutting out your current family. Or
Oh,
you
that's good. I want you to repeat that because that happens way too often, or somebody passed and you didn't change your beneficiaries. So Curtis, can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, so you need to look at your stuff and make sure. Now you don't want to cut your old kids off, right? So you might need another plan, okay? But you if you don't get along with that person, you don't want them to get all your stuff, then you need to change the beneficiary and make it to your new spouse or partner. And you got to look at that, right? And so I would pull those out and review that, review with HR. I'd get with my agent, or if you call us, we'll do we're doing a beneficiary review uh, uh, um, offer out there right now, and to kind of pull all this stuff together, we're going to do a workshop called "Don't Send Your Family on a Financial Scavenger Hunt." Trying to follow all your stuff, so you pull all your stuff together. That'd be the first thing I do. I would look at my car insurance, get my declaration pages, and see what kind of coverage I have. Do I have disability insurance? And just play defense. Like that's why you got that's the mode. Like so again, it's not sexy, but you'll sleep better at night if you know you got your stuff together. I think that's it.
Yeah, I agree. No, I was just pondering something you said. Before we continue, if these conversations are helping you, don't stop with the information. That's one thing. But go like, share, comment, send this out so that other people can be exposed to it. But inside of our Built to Last Kingdom and Legacy Builders Collective, we take these types of principles and we turn them into action. We work together through accountability, live strategy sessions, implementation, and access to trusted professionals like Curtis. If you wasn't here, I mentioned something happening earlier. If your goal is to build financial stability, security, wealth, and a lasting legacy, we would love for you to join us. The link is in the description. But we talked about one of the things that we're going to do, and Curtis, for the people who are here, he's going to give you a free financial assessment. So that'll be in the chat. Um, and we talked about the third week in August. Our membership community is having what we call Family Day. We have it every third Saturday of the month, and occurred we are building on how to build a bank. So if you're wondering how the Rockefellers got where they are and how the Jews do what they do, we're starting that series and we're allowing our members to bring their family members because again that's how critical these types of things are. These are financial systems that if they hold, they can last, right? And so we are extending the opportunity for people to come in, and none other than Curtis himself will be walking us through how to build personal economies and giving us some actionable things that we can do. So you don't want to miss that. You want to join. For non-members, we will have an opportunity for them to join, but you might as well I think the membership is probably about $47, or it may have gone up to $97, but it's beyond worth it. So you want to tap into that. All right, Curtis, before we go on our 30 rapid fire questions, um, and listen, we have fun with this, but there's a lot of things that you can glean in the answers to these questions, right? And so don't tap out. This is not the time to tap out. In fact, this is the time to tap in. So, Curtis, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you are you sure? So I don't think you made it out of I don't even think you made it. Have you ever gotten through like 10 of the questions?
I think the first day, first one.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
I have the timer set. Okay,
Okay.
ready, set, and go. Why should every adult have a will?
So that you don't leave confusion in your household. Say what you want to
Will,
have happen.
will or trust? Which conversation should come first?
Trust.
Most overlooked beneficiary mistake.
Naming minors as primary beneficiaries.
Biggest insurance myth.
That is a ripoff.
Term or permanent insurance. What should people understand?
uh, you need both. It's not either or. and it just depends on your cash flow. So term is great. The best insurance is the one that's enforced when you pass away.
Why review beneficiaries yearly?
Because life changes, estate, your goals change, and you just need to be on top of what you're doing.
What's probate in plain English?
Probate is if you die and you don't have entities in place, then your stuff is open for the world to see, to go through the
Should young
probate.
families have estate plans?
Yes,
Who needs an umbrella policy?
everyone.
What documents belong in one family folder?
Uh, the life insurance, the numbers, the company numbers, the policy numbers, for death or disability. Like, so if you were
Curtis,
unable
this is
to.
supposed to be under 60 seconds.
Okay, all right. I was like 30. Okay, go
It,
ahead. I
that
can
was
give you an incomplete answer, but I'm
that
trying to
was
help you see.
30. How
Okay,
often should courage be reviewed?
yearly.
One mistake business owners make: no insurance.
No
What's the
insurance.
biggest legacy killer?
No insurance.
Why are powers of attorney important?
Because if you're disabled, somebody's got to be able to step in and handle your business.
Healthcare directive. Why now?
Because every time you go to the hospital, they ask you, "Do you have one?" And you need to let them know if you want to be resuscitated or what have you.
What's one conversation families avoid?
Uh, Wills, estate stuff.
One financial document everyone should know where it is.
Their, I think their life insurance.
What should newlyweds do first? I'm sorry.
Go to counseling. All right, no, so that's what they ain't new as yet. They should sit down with, I think, a financial person and map out what their vision of their new life starting out, what that looks like, and start working to making that a reality.
I agree with that. What should new parents do immediately?
Um, Same thing, but also, uh, you can get insurance on children day 15 of life, and you should insure them. That's you want to know what the Rockefellers do? That's what they do.
Day 15 of life, insure your children.
As soon as you get a social security number, yeah, you can get
One
insurance.
grand one thing grandparents should consider.
Um, I would put a policy on. I would buy insurance on the kids with the parents' permission, and I would fund it for them.
I like that. Biggest protection mistake homeowners make.
Not reviewing their coverage, not making sure they have a good HO3 policy with replacement costs.
What about renters?
Renters should have renters insurance to protect their stuff.
Why update after divorce?
Because one, you're going through a traumatic thing and you're not thinking about it, so you need to update it so you can make sure everything is what you want it to be.
After retirement?
Uh, Same thing. What preparing for retirement? How much do I need to live on, and what is my health insurance cost? What am I? All that kind of stuff.
How often should families meet about finances?
Worst case, monthly.
I agree. I think it should be weekly. All
I
right,
do it
one
weekly. I
question.
look at my numbers weekly, but I'm saying worst case, at least monthly, because I know they ain't doing that.
Yes. So listen, please, you get better each
Have
day,
a
right?
money date, but it really should be
Do
weekly.
one thing different each once you learn it. One thing they should ask their insurance agent.
Um, hmm. Is this term or permanent? What type of insurance is it? Term, permanent, or universal life?
One question to ask an attorney.
Um, Will of trust.
Finish this for us. Stewardship means
Um, Taking good care of what you have and leaving it for the next generation.
finish this. Legacy requires
Discipline and long range planning.
and
One
caring
sen-
about other people other than yourself.
one sentence that every family should remember about protecting wealth.
It's not optional.
Listen, Curtis, thank you for another powerful conversation. As always, you come through with the come through. If there is one take, there's one takeaway today, is this: protecting your progress is just as important as making your progress. Right? It's just important as making it. A will isn't about expecting the worst. It's about preparing for the people you love. Curtis said it's a love document. I think that's what those was his words.
Yeah,
Insurance isn't about fear. It's about responsibility. It's about responsibility. That's why Curtis
absolutely.
said,
It's
grow
about
up.
love. Grow up.
Trust beneficiaries and proper coverage aren't just legal documents. They are acts of stewardship, right? And so this
Because
week,
as the wealth
don't just
accumulates, somebody will we call it the Willie Sutton rules. As wealth is accumulated, somebody's going to try to take it. So you have to build a moat around your castle.
and that's facts. This week, don't just say, I'll get to it someday. Schedule the appointment, review your beneficiaries, right? You have to take action. And we started the conversation. We want you to start the conversation with your family, with your friends. Um, and if you haven't taken Curtis's assessment, do that today. And then I want you to begin our 7-day financial reset so you can move from information to implementation. That's it. People who get the results, they take quick action. Next week, we are introducing a concept that many people have never heard before. Be your own bank. Yes, you can be your own bank. And we'll talk about where your money should actually live while it's growing, where it will actually live while it's growing. And we want you to stay tapped in, right? You stay connected. We're always dropping tips, tactics, and tools here. Again, consider coming into the membership where you have the accountability and we actually work through these things more personally and more on a customizable note. And last, until next time, remember, we're intentional about building people, places, properties, and profit margins because we're not just building wealth, but we would like to help you build legacy. And that's what it means to be built to last. So until next week, I want you to go set your notification now because he bringing all of the fire next week. Probably not all of it, but that might be. I say it's probably going to be a 2 alarmer. Um, and when we all get together inside of our community, that's going to be the 5 alarmer. But in all seriousness, here you have a whole week to get the people. Make this a family session, make this a friend session, right? So that each generation do not have to keep starting from ground zero, so that your cash flow can stay positive, so that we can leverage institutions, financial institutions, and all these other things and not be dependent on them. And that Curtis can get you all set up, in such a way that the fort is built, right? That you're building that fort, that good
Because
old fort.
it's simple, guys. It's not overly complicated. It's not even you hearing I'm saying get more coverage. It's not even more. A lot of times I'll show people to get maximum coverage. It's like $35 more than what they're already spending. So get all of this stuff out your head. Find out how it works. It's very painless, and I make financial planning fun.
This guy. This guy. What was that? I mean, what was that? Okay. Well, as always, we always
Jazz
sign
fingers.
off
Hey.
in typical form. I am going to say goodbye, good night, good people. Until next week, set your notifications, go like, share, and subscribe to the Built to Last YouTube channel. And I'm saying good night, good people. Curtis, say good night to the good people.
Good night, good people.
God bless you all. Have a good week. This
Deuces.
guy.